Siwapili Rose Amador Laveau, and this is Native Voice TV. I'd like to introduce my co-host, Craig Pasqua.
OCO, Rose.
Well, I think he said hello.
I
Oh,
did.
he said, okay. Well, welcome to all of you to Native Voice TV. Today our guest is Kelly Gamboa from the Red Earth Women's Society.
Nice to be here today.
Welcome, Kelly.
Hi, Kelly.
Hello.
What is the Red Earth Women's Society, Kelly?
Well, the Red Earth Women's Society started about probably 10 years ago. We've been gathering together. It's Native or Indigenous women throughout the community, San Jose, Santa Clara County. It started out just as a safe space for women to gather and talk about stuff, you know, whether it was DV or doing cultural projects. One of the main focuses of the group also is to do community service. So we do a lot of activities throughout the year to keep us busy. One of them is we host the Elders booth at the Mexica New Year every year. We also do a Toys for Tots drive for families in the community. We do a lot of different things. We feed the homeless during the winter months, stuff like that. You know, and in the meantime, we try to learn about culture and, you know, things that are important to families.
So,
And this is based in Santa Clara County, California.
Yes,
All
yes.
right.
San Jose is our home base. We have members from all over the Bay Area, though.
Okay, I just wanted to mention California because this is all over the country. So.
Yeah, it's true.
so like San Jose in the area, you have a lot of members probably from different parts of the country here, not just
Right.
this area. What other tribes?
We have Lakota women. We have a lot of women from the Southwest. We have Apache. We have Yaqui. We have a few California natives. We have pretty much all over. You know, we're because you know the Bay Area has a large relocated population, so we're pretty diverse in ourselves.
And has the organization grown over the years?
It ebbs and flows with the community. Right now we probably have a core group of about 15 women. We've had as many as 25 and we've had as few as 5. You know, but the one thing is we never stop. We never stop meeting. We always hold space for each other no matter where we are or what we're doing. You know, we try to meet regularly at least twice a month if we can.
Oh, good. Okay. And you also help, I guess, help each other with issues that might arise in your families or your lives?
Yes, the group originally started to address the issues of domestic violence and, you know, violence at home, whether it was partner violence, parent-child violence, you know, whatever the case may be. We originally started to gather together like that so that the women in our community had a safe place that they could talk and feel comfortable, you know, and know that, you know, what was said there stayed there, of course, but in a cultural way. You know, we start our group with a prayer. You know, we all have each other's phone numbers. We keep in touch. You know, if we know that a member needs extra support, we'll kind of tag teamer, you know, keep in touch. Just because as urban natives, you know, a lot of the women are out of touch with their tribal communities. And so a lot of women have issues that are, you know, serious issues, of course. DV couldn't be more serious, but being far away from home, you know, even if they were born here, they still are missing that connection with their tribe.
Sure.
So.
And families.
Yeah, exactly. Extended families, moms, grandmas, people who would support them through hard times. So, you know, that's how we really started. And we've just kind of grown and changed as the years gone by. You know, we've, every year we make a decision to do something different, you know. So, you know, community service-wise, stuff like that. But we have our core things that we do for the community every year.
Well, that is so important because so many people like myself have been relocated to this area and you've lost contact with your tribe or your family, in many cases your family, and a lot of times you're isolated out here and you're providing a valuable service for those community members that are no longer, you know, within their tribal homeland.
Yeah, you know, and it's a really healthy group. The women are so dedicated. You know, they're really there for each other. It's really comforting to know that there's a place to go. We're always looking for new members, of course, but we do have a core group that's never given up on the group, so that's been really nice.
Now this year you've really taken on a monumental, extremely important project. Tell us about that.
Oh my goodness, yes. It started out as a small seed of thought, and what it was a couple years ago I was at a conference in Albuquerque, and I was there by myself. I don't like to travel alone, so I was kind of uncomfortable. There's people from all over. It was a women's conference. It was the Women Are Sacred conference. And so I was sitting there in this giant group of people, and I don't do well by myself usually. And I saw a familiar face walk by, and it was Elisa Alvarado. So I was so happy to find somebody. So we kind of hooked up during the conference and, had lunch and stuff together a few times. And when we both came back to San Jose, we decided that we needed to do something about what we learned there. So, went back and forth for a while, and then, we finally settled on the missing and murdered Indigenous women, which was the focus of the conference. So we started out with just the red dress display, and each red dress symbolizes missing and murdered women and girls, of course. So, and they say each dress is in honor of a woman. I say each dress is in honor of 100 women, because they're so underreported. Even in California, they're underreported for a variety of different reasons. But the point of our project this year was to bring awareness to that, because it's a national epidemic that does affect us here in urban areas. Mm-hmm. So we wanted to bring awareness to that. So people, we want people to be our law enforcement, our county, city, state government. We want them to be responsible and accountable to us, because we're here and we've never left and we're not going to. So.
And what should they be aware of?
Well, they should be aware that we are the most underreported when it comes to, violence against us, murder, rape, domestic violence. For whatever reason, those things, law enforcement doesn't do a good job by us. I did find out at one point that like in San Jose, right here in our hometown, the rape test kits hadn't been tested. They'd just been sitting, languishing somewhere, probably crumbling into dirt. And so that was another big thing to us. We wanted accountability. It's hard enough to, when you're a survivor of rape, it's hard enough to go do that test kit. It's almost re-victimizing. So for them to just put them on a shelf somewhere and ignore them was horrendous to us. So we started to push people here and there about that, and we did get some results. I know Cindy Chavez did post on her website that she had some additional funding set aside to test some of the kits. We want them all tested. Mm-hmm. We're going to keep pushing too. So, okay. And I think the underreporting comes from, that, I don't know, the institutional racism that we all are, fighting against all the time. Institutional racism is a little different, just because it's a little more undercover. It doesn't show right out in front like other, like face-to-face racism. It comes out in ugly different ways that are very subtle but still there. The fact that the media, for example, the media doesn't like to report on the Indigenous women. In 1999, Marlene Marie Bueno, which she was 17 years old, is my niece. She was murdered in a brutal way. And I think part of what stuck with me through that whole thing was the media was there for a hot second and they just moved on. They never thought twice about her. Even during there was a big old trial. They caught the guy, of course, and all this stuff happened, and it was a long drawn out thing, and the media was there only for a hot second. They didn't care what happened to her, and that's always bothered me. It's always bothered me. And then, you see other murder cases, like the poor pregnant lady from Modesto, her case was all over the media. And my niece was missing for a week before her body was found. And, I compare that to the Lacey Peterson. She was, and, God bless her and God bless her family, but, the media coverage for that was outrageous compared to my niece. She was missing and murdered also. And the media just walked away. You know, so, you know, things like that, you know, they're so bothersome to us, and, you know, we need to be represented. We need to be protected.
I'm sure there's a lot of our viewers here will be interested in the things that you're doing and the program that's going out there, and they want more information. And I'm sure we'll be able to post some links to that. But I'm interested in how our county, Santa Clara County, is responding. I know that your group, I've seen the dresses all over. I've seen them, you know, online and in displays. And so I'm aware of the group, but how is the county, our county representatives?
The county representatives are just coming around to us, you know, because we decided this year that we're not going to be quiet anymore. You know, we are going to be graceful about our wants and our needs being met, but we want them to be met, definitely. The county is in the process of issuing a proclamation, you know, so, you know, regarding the missing and murdered. The state also has, you know, so on Monday they voted, and from now on, May will forever be in the state of California in memory of the missing and murdered Indigenous Women's Month. You know, and that's huge. That brings awareness to what we're talking about here. We do have an exhibit up at 70 West Heading at the county building there, and I invite everybody to come out and see it.
I think we have a few pictures of the project, so maybe we can take a look at those pictures, and you can tell us what this is.
So the first time since the May Day March started, they asked a contingent of the Red Earth Women's Society to lead the whole march. And so we did that, and that's a picture of us. That's part of our contingent there, but 4 of us walked in front of the whole march to start it off, which was really cool because it really brought a lot of awareness to what we're doing and who we are.
And our next slide, let's see what we have here.
That's an exhibit up at San Jose State University. There's over 300 red dresses hanging there. Soma de Bourbon, which she's part of our group, she also teaches there. This is, I think, the 2nd year that she's put up the exhibit. And what's really cool about her exhibit is there's actually names attached to some of the dresses and information. It's very poignant. It's when you go see them, it's kind of deep. You know, it's emotional. You know, and even those 300 dresses, they still only represent at least 100 women each.
And this is at San Jose
State University.
That's
yes.
very powerful.
Yeah, it's powerful. It's very powerful.
And it's almost sacred. You walk on there, and you get that vibe from the students and the faculty that are there, anyone around that area.
Yeah.
If you've seen that.
That's a real education.
It is, it is. We had a panel discussion there with a few people from the community on Monday at the university, also too at Conexión, the Native TANF office, the County Mental Health Building, and I believe at Indian Health Clinic, there's also a red dress display with all the information on it. And then tomorrow night is our closing ceremony at 70 West Heading, and I invite everybody to come out.
Pictures of that, 70 West Heading.
Yep,
Yes.
there it is.
Okay, so this was.
This
is a pretty elaborate display as well.
Yeah, we put up young girls this year because they're part of that. You know, there's a lot of young girls that aren't counted in the statistics because they're children. I don't know why that makes them different, but there's a lot of even babies missing, you know, unaccounted for. One of the dresses, I don't see it in the shot here, is a southern dress from the border. And it represents, because another big, huge part of the numbers that are missing are the women from down on the border. You know, the atrocities that are happening to the women and children down there, that they are represented in our exhibit, though. Our exhibit, what was cool about it was all the women in the group sewed the dresses together. It was a little scary because on the day of the sewing, I said, "How many people here have sewn?" And nobody raised their hand.
Uh-oh.
But you know what? We pushed through. We pushed through, and
the dresses are beautiful.
They are beautiful. They are beautiful. It was an amazing, amazing, you know, thing to do with them, and it gave them all ownership in the project too. So
they're beautiful, and the dress we have here was one of the dresses that was made at the with your project, and the necklaces.
The necklaces were made by Chairwoman Louise Ramirez. She's the chairwoman of the Ohlone, Costanoan, Esselen Nation. And she is part of our group now. She's a newer member, but She didn't sew, so she made all the necklaces herself for each of the dresses, and they're just beautiful. They're just beautiful.
It does make a powerful statement when you see the dress.
Yeah, it does. It does. Knowing the love and the care and the prayers that went into all of the sewing, you know, and then when we first put up the display, we had a ceremony there, which was really nice. So, you know, it's been quite a project to work on. So we're determined to not let this go. We're gonna continue this, you know, into next year and the next year and the next year. That's gonna be part of what the Red Earth Women's Society does forevermore. You know, we're going to continue to do the other community things that we do, but this is going to be a huge, important part of what we do continuously, because we're not willing to just do a project and walk away.
Walk away from it. Especially something this important.
Yes, yes.
So what are you going to do with the dresses?
They'll probably be put to sleep for a while. We're going to keep them up as long as we can until the end of May. And then we'll put them away. We have some additional stuff we're going to do for next year, you know, in conjunction with the dresses. So we have a lot of stuff going on, and this year we're not going to do it all 2 months before. We're going to actually start on it now.
What's amazing what you did in a short amount of time.
It was kind of crazy, but you know, it was worth it. It was worth it. And if you ask any of the women in the group, they would tell you the same. They were really happy with the way it came out. And the exhibit is really beautiful at 70 West Heading. It's very simple, but it's very beautiful.
That's at the county building, so people can still go by and take a look at it. And if you miss it this year, you'll probably see it next year. And it's going to be at the county building through the end of the month?
Yes, till the end of, oh no, the display's coming down tomorrow night.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what they gave us space for, but that's okay. We're going to work on that too.
Now that's good. It's good to be in a government facility, so everybody who walks through that building, what a lot of people do, can see this display.
Yeah, at the opening ceremony was really cool, because when we put it up, there was a lot of people walking by, and we were talking to them, trying to pull them in. A lot of people were asking questions and stuff like that. So at the opening, the reception that we had on the 3rd was really cool, because I looked in the crowd and there's actually people who were just walking by who came back to the reception. So that was really nice, because they were asking a lot of questions. They took a lot of the literature we put up and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool.
I was thinking you may want to make some extra dresses next year, because every time I wear my regalia, someone comes up and says, "Can I purchase that? Can I buy that?"
Really?
Well, not every time, but
Yeah,
I mean,
I know what you
but I was thinking for fundraising.
We were thinking of that. Yeah, we were thinking of that. I think when we take down the display at 70 West Heading, we're going to probably put the dresses out to the other agencies that already have a dress, so there could be a couple more just until the end of May, just to keep it going. And then we're going to start working on a couple more dresses, because we want to reach out to other agencies to have one in their lobby.
Excellent.
Yeah, but when we have another additional project too. I don't want to say yet, because the group will freak out when they know what it is.
Oh, they don't know yet.
Only a couple do.
Well, you're doing amazing work, and I know we have a dress at Conexión, and we will definitely keep it there through the end of the month and support it in any way, because you know, at the community agencies, that's where people come, and that's where we have to educate the public.
Yeah.
You know, in public settings.
I had a young coworker approach me yesterday and ask me about the dress in the lobby there. And when I sat with her for 5 minutes and explained to her, I looked up at her face and she had tears on her face. You know, she was so overwhelmed, and she said, you know, I knew this was going on, but I didn't know to what proportions, you know. So, and she has a young son, you know, that she's going to talk to about it, and she's going to bring him tomorrow night to see the exhibit and stuff, because we need to, you know, talk to our young men, our sons, you know, our nephews and stuff, to let them know, you know, how to treat women.
Right.
You know, we come from a culture that women are revered, and we need to get back to that. Not that we're better or anything like that, but, you know, sometimes, like today I went to a training at another agency, and I brought snacks, so I had all kinds of bags in my hand, and a bunch of the employees ran right by me, and I was like, oh, I'm not used to that. And I started thinking, am I spoiled or what? You know, but no, it's my culture. Nobody from my culture, from my community, would have walked by me like that.
Right.
Somebody would have said, let me give you a hand. You know, and so we're losing those things that are so important, you know, so important.
Exactly. Quasio and I attended something one of the council people put on at a park. And after the program, they had food for everybody. So we walked by and we looked at these long lines, and there was a long line, and towards the end there's a elder standing with a cane. And you think, we would never have that. You know, they would have been served. They would have been first in line. They would, but they were in the line with the wheelchairs and the elders in the back, and it was just shocking to see something like that.
It's shocking.
So maybe we could teach, the rest of the community.
Yes, and it's just about modeling that healthy behavior to the youth that we work with, even just our own kids, within our own family circles, to hear, like in the grocery store, I hear kids telling their parents no and stuff like that, and
talking back to them.
Yeah, it's kind of outrageous, but at the same time, it's sometimes when we lose our culture, that's what happens. Yeah. That's a big part of our culture, who we are, how we treat each other. That's such an important piece. But if the farther we get away from it, the more desensitized our children become. Even today, the with all the media stuff, TV, video games, all that stuff, all it's doing is desensitizing our children. And it's a sad thing, it's teaching them violence and stuff like that. And it's to no good end, Well, my kids were probably what they call latchkey kids, because 2 working parents, These kids are worse off than latchkey kids, because they have all this stuff to deal with, social media, the violent games. I haven't found one video game that's not violent. I found one with little cartoon characters, and at the end he got squished. You know what I mean? So I finally found one I could play, but So I don't know, I think I think one of the big important things that the Red Earth Women's Society does is keep in touch with our culture by learning. We're so diverse, the group. We like to trade information about our culture and bring a teaching. Like, we'll learn how to make a California basket, and maybe next month we'll do a Lakota project or a Southwest art piece, So we keep that culture alive. And and you can bring your kids too. It's not just for adults. And even if men want to come, we invite them. It's okay. So.
What someone asked me was, when they say women and children, well, it's actually women and girls, but they go, what about the boys? Because there are little boys that are stolen, little children that are stolen, and I think. That's the focus, but that doesn't mean they're left out or not included.
They're not left out, especially like when we're talking about the atrocities on our border. Mm-hmm. It's definitely women and children, and whole families are disappearing and being separated and stuff like that. But we're looking at statistically what's reported. That's all we can go by, is what we know. But we do understand that little boys are stolen, that grown men are abducted or murdered, of course. But for some reason, that's not how law enforcement, those numbers are counted, a lot more than the women and children.
Right. Now, the name Red Earth Women's Society, is that something that your group, that's unique to your group, or is that a...
Yes, it is. We started out 10 years ago as Motherhood is Sacred. We were supported by a different program, and as the years went by, that support kind of waned. And so we separated ourselves from that agency, and we continued on as Motherhood is Sacred for a minute. And then we decided that it was time for a change. Since we are self-supporting, we do all our own fundraising, we do all our own footwork. We're not connected to any agency or anything like that. So we decided that it was time for a name change too. And we just thought of ideas, and that was the one that was voted on.
Picked a good name.
Yeah, I like it.
And you do good work. Thank you for all of the work. Thank you to all of the group.
Thank you.
This year was wonderful.
It was nice, yeah.
And we're looking forward to bigger and better things next year. We're here to help.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate that.
And thank you for all the work, for those beautiful red dresses.
Yes, they are
what they
beautiful.
represent. We all have to remember what they represent.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for joining us, Native Voice TV. We'll see you again next week.